And all foreign ministers of member nations of the Shanghai Cooperation Organisation will convene together for a virtual meeting on the coronavirus pandemic. Now, External Affairs Minister S Jaishankar will be representing India to discuss the global challenges and preparedness to fight the novel coronavirus. The virtual meeting of the foreign ministers on COVID-19 will be focusing on the multilateral cooperation within the SCO to fight this pandemic. The member states will also try to chart out a roadmap to revive the shrinking global economy due to the widespread lockdowns. Russia's preparation for the upcoming SCO summit and its presidency will also be other matters that are likely to be discussed. In order to fight the coronavirus outbreak, member nations of the SCO will share data, cooperate in different areas of frontline work, carry out research, particularly in the field of medicine and pharmaceuticals. They are also likely to raise concerns over the shortage in medical equipment and protective gear. Well, China, Russia, India, Pakistan, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan are the 8 member nations of the SCO. This will be the first time that the foreign ministers of India and Pakistan will be interacting in any group meeting on COVID-19. Earlier, in the NAM conference, remember, the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi met the Pakistani President Arif Alvi. And in the SAARC conference, the Prime Minister saw the junior advisor to Pakistan's representative being present instead of the leader. However, Pakistan has repeatedly used international platforms to raise the Kashmir issue and target India. Just a few weeks ago, Pakistan raked up Kashmir's legitimacy in both the SAARC and NAM meetings, which were actually aiming at discussing the pandemic instead. The annual SCO Foreign Ministers meeting is usually scheduled after the BRICS foreign meet. In this year's BRICS meet, foreign ministers of all countries agreed to grant $15 billion loan instrument to revive a collapsing global economy due to COVID-19. So clearly an important meeting there of the SCO leaders, a virtual meeting to discuss the coronavirus pandemic, and this will be the first time that the leaders of India and Pakistan will be sharing space in this virtual conference taking place. There will also be, of course, attempts at collaboration between all the SCO leaders in the pharmaceutical sector, in the medical sector, and in sharing information and resources in our fight against COVID-19, which has, of course, affected the whole world and also adversely affected the subcontinent. At the NAM conference, of course, as well, leaders had brainstormed about the possible cooperation between the leaders of the subcontinent in the fight against COVID-19. Siddhant Sibal is now joining us live for the very latest on this virtual conference of the SCO leaders. Siddhant, what else do you know at this point? We know that the Indian and Pakistani foreign ministers will be meeting for the first time in many months in this virtual frame. And also, of course, cooperation will be discussed at the subcontinent level on this pandemic.
Well, yes, Bhairavi, the meeting took place today. It is a video conference, it's a virtual meeting. And just a short while ago, in fact, just 5 minutes ago, the joint statement has been released. It is, of course, in Russian right now. And we, of course, are right now waiting for a translated English version. And this is a positive development because, remember, after the BRICS meeting, there was no joint statement, which, of course, hints at some kind of divergences. But we also know that Russia is the chair of both the SCO and the BRICS for this year. That is why it has taken the initiative of this video conference on the COVID crisis. But talking about the SCO video conference, the basic focus was on a joint SCO strategy when it comes to the dealing of the entire COVID crisis. And of course, the joint statement is, of course, will be talking about the measures through which all these countries, which is, of course, China, Russia, the 4 Central Asian countries, India and Pakistan, can come out with. But what is the most interesting part is that the Indian and the Pakistani foreign ministers were present in this video conference. Both were in fact in the same frame, and while the Pakistani Prime Minister talked about several issues. He talked about the peace process in Afghanistan. He did not directly mention Kashmir, which is a divergence in terms of Pakistan using all these forums to rake up Kashmir, whether it is SAC or other forums. And also we know that the last time both the foreign ministers were supposed to be in same room were during the informal SAC foreign ministers meeting last year on the sidelines of the UNGA, where in fact WION was present, and we saw the Pakistani foreign minister not entering the room till the time the external affairs minister S Jaishankar leaves the room. So this time around he was present in the room. He did not mention Kashmir. Of course there were measures to poke up India through various ways, but by and large we saw how the Pakistani tone and tenor was very different when it comes to SCO, and this perhaps could be because of the presence of Russia and China, while Pakistan has been using SARC directly by raking up Kashmir, trying to diverge into other territories. Here it was completely different Pakistan.
Right. So Siddhant, they're confirming to us that the meeting is now over, and of course many issues were raised, but Pakistan did not raise Kashmir directly, and of course the pandemic was discussed in subcontinent. Siddhant, thanks very much indeed for that.